Good evening. Now we're going to speak about the laws of kosherizing our countertops, sinks, and then we'll move on to dishwashers. They each have their own specific laws. Again, we always have to think and be creative and think what needs to be cleaned and kosherized in our houses. Never be shy to ask questions. Anyone who asks, they learn. Worst comes to worst, you don't need to kosherize it. But at least think about it. Think what needs to be cleaned and kosherized in our homes. So let's talk about the countertops. Depending on the material of the countertop is depending on if it's able to be kosherized or not. Generally speaking, a wood countertop is something that cannot be kosherized because wood normally has grooves, crevices, sometimes with a knife it was cut or something, and the items, whatever it is, in our case, chametz normally stays there. So kitchen countertops which are made out of wood are less common, but if it is wood, they would need to be cleaned really, really well and then covered in a way that they will be not revealed at all. Same goes for tables. I'm not talking something that's veneered or lacquered wood, because that obviously is something which can be cleaned and there's no grooves at all, if there is or isn't, right? But let's say tables that are a little grainy and they have these grooves and the natural form of the wood, that becomes an issue. The next is formica. Formica is, obviously, we all know what that is. When it comes to that, there is differences amongst opinions if we could kosherize it or not. Okay? Many are stringent that after you clean it, you need to keep it covered. Others are of the opinion that if you clean it very, very well, it does not need to be covered. I guess each on their own basis should ask their own rabbi if what is the best to be done or not. Now, most kitchens nowadays have some type of stone, whether it's granite, quartz, marble, whatever you use. All these type of stone surfaces are kosherized as follows. They're obviously wiped and cleaned down, that there's no chametz there, and then boiling hot water is poured on them to be cleaned. Now it's not a little bit of hot water, and it's not just one kum full for the whole countertop. Each section needs to be done. Each section needs to have the hot water poured directly on that section. Be aware when we do this, your floors will get wet. It's fine, you'll survive. Okay? Maybe you want to put towels along the edges, towels on the floor. It's a whole to-do. That's kosherizing and cleaning for Pesach. Normally, as I said this morning, when we kosherize the stovetop, if you're pouring boiling water on it, that's the time to also do the countertops. You're getting everything wet, it's all going to get a little dirty with some water, and that's fine. So the boiling hot water, for most of the kitchens that we all have, we need to use boiling hot water and it goes directly on. So it's not here and then it just spreads over there. No, it needs to touch every area of the countertop. It takes time, takes a couple kumkums, takes a couple time to fill it, but that is the proper way to kosherize the stovetop, as we said, if it's a glass stovetop, and most importantly, what we're speaking about now, any type of stone surface. Now, when it comes to sinks, the law is quite similar. Stainless steel are most type of sinks, and again, those are cleaned down and boiling hot water poured along the walls, along the bottom. That's the way to kosherize it. Plastic sinks for Sfaradim is not an issue. You would do the same thing. Porcelain sinks, again for Sfaradim, you would do the same thing. Many Ashkenazim are stringent that if they do not have either stone or metal stainless steel sink, that they would actually cover their sink, whether it's with an insert or something else. Again, that's not our issues. Besides for the counter and the sinks, the knobs need to be cleaned also. They don't need to be kosherized, although it wouldn't hurt to pour a little boiling water on it, but they need to definitely be cleaned with soap and water and cleaned very well. That's when it comes to countertops, sinks, and the knobs. The next, what we're going to deal with is, very quickly, dishwashers. Dishwashers is one of those items where there's a big debate if it's able to be kosherized or not. The Sephardic approach is that it is fully permitted to be kosherized. How so? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to go in there. I don't know how many times you've ever done this in your life. You're going to stick your head in your dishwasher, obviously when it's not on, okay? And you're going to look at the back. Every dishwasher has its own little area, but there's some type of feed or some type of trap over there that all of the leftover gunk actually goes out to and filters its way through. If you go there and you find anything, that needs to be ideally removed. If you could even open it and get in there and take something out, good. If it's clean enough, if there's nothing there, so that you don't have to do anything. All you gotta do is you gotta put soap in there, turn it on to its hottest setting, hottest, longest setting, whatever it is. We normally have the tradition to do that twice, and then you're good. Again, you gotta inspect with your eyes, make sure that there's no leftover food or gunk on the racks or inside. It should be run empty on its highest cycle at least twice is what we normally do. Ashkenazim will not kosherize their dishwasher, primarily because there is plastic. Normally there's always plastic in the dishwasher, and Ashkenazim are of the opinion that plastic cannot be kashered. According to Chavad Yosef, according to the main Sephardic tradition, we do kosherize plastic just as we say glass can be kosherized as well. So that is when it comes to dishwashers. We'll continue B'ezrat Hashem on the different other parts of kosherizing our kitchen tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, shacharitz at 10 to 7.